We all know how important the mind is, but when you think like a poor person versus a rich person, what are the fundamental differences, and can you change the way that you think? In other words, can you get unplugged from the matrix? Let's find out. So there's a question that comes to mind about the differences between someone who I guess we could say is normal, which what does that even mean nowadays, versus someone who is wealthy and rich. The differences are actually vast, and I know, you want to think, or some may want to think that people are people are the same, fundamentally the same anyway, like with internally there are desires that are common. Everybody wants that American dream. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants to be able to provide for the families and all that. And yeah, okay, those are good commonalities. Those are the same. They're, it is what it is. I mean, it's basically things that we can agree on. There's definitely things that we can agree upon, and there are commonalities, but fundamentally, I think that people are different based on their situation, based on their circumstance. And even though it's fundamental, it can be changed. What causes it is a series of, let's just say it's culture. It's culture that crafts and determines them. And I've mentioned in a previous video that we're going to talk about culture more in depth and how that's reflective of your business and how you're going to create it, how it sets the tone and separates you from other people that may be selling similar or the same products. Culture is actually a huge deal when it comes to business that a lot of business owners actually overlook. So if you're not into culture and defining that or even understanding what that is, we will talk about that in a future video. However, in this video, I wanted to talk about the differences of the fundamentalism between someone who is wealthy versus someone who is not. And the reason why I think this is an important topic is because I was one of the former mindset that it lends itself to the whole normal mentality. Now I've crossed that bridge and I'm more into the wealthy mindset. What seems to be a lot of money for me back in the day, now it's like, that's not even a lot of money. Like, if you were to say $500 was a lot of money, I'd say, man, $500 goes by so quick. It's nothing, I know if you're a parent, that $500 really is nothing. $500 is just about enough for maybe a week's groceries or a couple weeks' groceries if you have kids and whatnot. But even before, I'm talking about when we were kids. I'm talking about when you were maybe in your teen years, and I don't know if you can hear my kid crying in the background, but my wife decided to bring my baby boy right as I'm doing this. Hold on, let me just text him. We can hear Joshy crying. I am recording. So yeah, hopefully that will tell my wife to take him away from this general area. All right, so getting back into topic here, I was saying that, when we were, let's just say teenagers, $500 seemed like a lot because you think, well, where am I going to come up with $500 for whatever it is that I want? And, it's back then it was a lot of money. But when you cross that bridge into adulthood, and especially when you're, when you're a parent of children, you realize that $500 is a small amount. Well, I'm talking about, I've crossed the bridge to the point where thousands of dollars, a certain amount of thousands of dollars is nothing. In this country, in various parts of this country, there's many people who make roughly $2,000 to $3,000 a month, maybe $4,000 a month, and that seems to be kind of like an average, kind of like a good salary for one person. $5,000 and under per month seems to be kind of a good type of salary, and it is. I mean, especially if it's for one person. So we live in a day and age now where many households are double income. Used to be that it was traditionally only the husband who would make the money. So they would, by and large, make more money back then than they do now. Now things are different. But, it used to be that I would think that, wow, I'm going to get this job and they're going to pay me like $3,000 a month or $4,000 a month. Whoa, that is insane. Wow. I worked at Lowe's where they paid me $11.42 an hour, and that turned out to be just over like about $1,200 a month, roughly. And it was like my first job getting married, and I thought, whoa, that's awesome. This is a lot of money. And then when I got another job and I was making $2,000 a month, I was like, whoa, this is insane. $2,000 a month. Wow, I am rolling in the dough here, So back then my mind was in that state where, that much money was a lot. But in reality, I look back at it now and I think, how did I make $2,000 stretch so far? How was that even possible? You know what I'm saying? Like $2,000 is chump change. I could spend that in a day. You know what I'm saying? And many people have when you buy a phone or something, but or a TV or something. But yeah, $2,000, $5,000 seemed like a lot. Now it's like, okay, that's not a lot of money. You see, my mindset has changed. Now I'm going for the tens of thousands of dollars. I'm going to the 10, 20, 30, 40s, 50. That's the real money. And most people only see that amount in a year's time. And that's insane because, you can scrape by on 50 grand a year, 40 grand a year. But do you realize how many people actually make 10 to 50 grand per month? If you realize that that is the standard for a lot of business owners, then you get to become awakened to the notion and the idea that if other people are making that much money per month instead of per year, then it's possible that you can do it too. So how do you get there? How do you get to that point? First of all, now that I've revealed this information to you, you're probably thinking, whoa, this is insane. I don't think like... Are you really joshing? Are you joshing me here? Because honestly, 50 grand a month is insane. It doesn't, my brain does not compute in that amount. Well, I say this because, again, it comes to the point where you have to think differently. There's this bridge that you need to cross over from the former way of thinking of how you identify money, how you identify your income, and then you cross over to the part of your life, to the part of your mentality where you realize that was your old way of thinking. It was pre-programmed based on, your upbringing, based on what your culture around you, what people were telling you, and this and that. And now you've crossed over into the age where the mentality of where wealthy people are thinking. And let me say this: it is not an easy bridge to cross. It really isn't, because you have a series of notions that comes with that you perceive on the other side. What do I mean by that? I used to think, this is true story. I used to think that wealthy people were generally all snobs. They were money hungry. They didn't know how to have a good time with life. I truly believe they did not know how to enjoy life, because all they cared about, their number one love, was money. That's what I felt. And I firmly believe this, as I'm the exact same person personality-wise, but my mentality back then was wealthy people did not know how to enjoy life. And the reason they couldn't enjoy life, maybe they had flashy cars and a fancy house and all this and that. Yeah, they had all these things, but they did not know how to have a good time with those things. They did not know the true reasons, the true meaning of living, which is not about the things, but about love, about life, about relationships, about, things like that, the things that matter, right? It's the poor people who know how to deal with it because they don't got the money to squander and to spend. Poor people, or when I say poor people, I mean like the quote unquote normal, the way that we think in terms of poor. So it doesn't even have to be financially you're poor. It's your mentality is that of a poor person, is that there's that dividend, there's that split between the poor mind's way of thinking and the rich mind way of thinking. And I will refer to you once again, I've done this in this channel before, but I'll refer to you to the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by t.harv. Read that book cover to cover because that book is transformational. That book got me started on the road to becoming an entrepreneur, and it's seriously filled with very insightful things, and it truly shows you, it truly identifies the poor way of thinking versus the rich way of thinking. T.harv used to be poor, and his mentality was a reflection of that. Same deal with me. Now, I was never poor. I've never been poor. I was raised in a middle-class family from the Bronx of New York City. Okay, my dad was doing pretty well for New York City. And I never had to worry about, not eating or anything. I was always well taken care of. My college was fully paid for. I was good. I was well off. Not like flashy well off, but anything I wanted, I got. So when I got married, things changed because now it was all on me. Fresh out of college, very little work history. And my first job once I got married was working at Lowe's, which you know how that story went. But anyway, my mentality, so I was never poor, but my mentality was that of a poor person. I perceived money in a certain way that if you were to categorize it, if you would classify it, is the poor way of thinking. $2,000 was a lot of money, but now I realize $2,000 I could spend in a week or 2 weeks. I mean, not that I would, I'm kind of frugal in that sense, but you know what I'm saying. But anyway, so there's a perception of the wealthy. And for many people, saying the word wealthy gives you kind of like that ooey feeling. It's that icky, If you say to yourself, I'm going to be rich. Some of you would say that out loud and then be like, ugh, I don't want to, I want money, but I don't want to be called a rich guy or rich girl. Ugh. And the reason for that is because, again, you have this perception of what wealthy people are like, and you have this negative perception of wealthy people. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you one thing first. Of course, there are people who are like that are wealthy, but you can't just generalize that as a whole. You can't stereotype wealthy people as being these rich old white snobs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. Because you can easily stereotype poor people or the quote unquote normal people. You could do that for both sides, and it's not fair to do it for either. Because I'm telling you, some of the most generous people I know have millions of dollars, and you will never know who they are. They don't even want to be in the spotlight. They don't even care that people know that they're rich. They don't want anyone to know. They just want to take care of their families, and they want to build something that can create a legacy for them that they could pass down to their children when they die. That's it. And there's children's children. So there's a lot of really good wealthy people. And I've been doing a lot of research, and I've been sitting down with these wealthy people that I personally know. And I've been asking them all sorts of questions, just trying to get in their headspace, just trying to figure out why, how they think about things and why they think about things, and match it up to my way of thinking, and realizing that, hey, I'm not, by comparison, I make diddly squat. So I am for sure going to listen to whatever it is that this person has to say, and most likely alter my perception and alter my way of thinking to whatever it is that they think, because if what they got going on is working, so I need to take what they got and I need to add it to my own, and I need to, so if my thoughts previously was, I probably shouldn't do that because it just doesn't seem right. I'm talking about everything legal. I'm just saying, I don't want to, like, for instance, here's a good example. I make money in addition to online marketing, affiliate marketing, all that. But I started my business in 2012. I started a few, but one of them that really stood out was my web design business, my web development business. And just to show you how far I've gone, I used to develop websites for $150. Whole websites, a 5-page website for $150. And then I raised it up to $800. And you could ask my wife, I used to fight tooth and nail about raising my rates. Why would I do that? It's because I did not feel like I was worth that amount. Like, you always try to set your value based on your experience, based on what you're capable of doing. So I felt like I wasn't really there yet. So I was saying, you know what? It took a lot of convincing from my wife to get me to raise my rates from $150 to $800 or $850. And that's nowhere near what I charge now. My rates are based on the client's specific needs, but let's just say it's in the thousands right now. So it's no longer, I'll do it for $850, $1,000 or whatever. You have to set your value based on what you're confident. Like, you got to be confident first of all, and then set your value on that. But the reason why I bring that up is because I used to think that, I probably shouldn't raise my rates. I don't want to steal from anybody. You see these weird thoughts going in my head, like I was stealing from someone by charging what I'm actually worth. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I used to think. I sat with one of my mentors who talked to me about my web development business, and based on our conversation, I walked away and I raised my rates. And I've been closing deals ever since. And so, and it's not just with like regular, Joe Schmo kind of people. It's businesses. It's like, hey, we need a new website. Can you handle it? Yeah. Okay. Boom. Here's the money. And that's it. That's how it's been. So, my perception, my poor man's perception was that I shouldn't raise my rates because, it seems unfair to the other person. It seems like I'm not, too adequate and confident and this and that. I don't want to be stealing from someone. I don't really need that money. I just need to close 10 or 20 deals to equal that $1,000 or something. That's how I used to think. But then I realized, no, because it's not fair to the client for you to have to spread your mentality so many ways to get 10 clients to equal one good paycheck. That's ridiculous. You cannot give them your full attention because you're busy just chasing all these other clients at the same time. What if you have one client that pays you so well that, if you get another client and another client that also pay you very well, you can actually outsource or create a team that you will coach, that you will mentor, and that they will follow your culture or your business culture. Again, we're talking about culture, which I will discuss later. And then create a thriving business where your clients are getting satisfied because they love the work that you're doing, and that you don't have to be chasing around so many people, but you are banking a good amount of money that you never could if you were still charging websites at $150 a pop. Make sense? Imagine you could get websites. One website is worth several thousands, and getting several of them, you could be banking in $100,000 a month if you really pushed it. But you have to cross that bridge to realize your potential and to realize that it is absolutely possible if you understand and if you thought of money in that respect, as opposed to, I just want to have a business that works, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't want to take advantage of people. And no, they want a website. They want a good website. And if you are capable of doing it, do it. Now, this is just talking about websites where it could be literally anything, any type of business that you're doing. Cakes, wedding cakes, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, whatever it is that you truly love doing. And again, we get back into this. You have to do something that you enjoy doing. Otherwise, it is not worth your time. So if it's not worth your time, don't worry about it, but create a business based on something that you love. Now, my old perception, again, of white people, my old perception of wealthy people was that, they don't know how to enjoy life. All they care about is money. What I realized, the truth And I couldn't see this when I had the poor man's mentality. And a lot of you will not be able to see this either until you cross this bridge. I'm going to say something that you're going to disagree with if you're still in that old set of mentality. You are going to disagree with this. But if you, hopefully when you cross that bridge, if you rewatch this video, it's going to carry on some new meaning. You're going to realize, oh snap, he actually was, he was telling the truth. He is so right on this. And that reality is the poor man's mentality is the one that cares the most about the money. Let that sink in. The poor man's mentality is the one that is constantly chasing the money. The poor man's mentality is the one that is always thinking about the money. Do you know why? Because we never have any. We're not enjoying life and knowing the true value of life because we lack money. You know, we do have that, like, I know what it means to love. And yeah, we do have that, but so do wealthy people. But our minds are more circled around money. First of all, why are you even watching these videos? Why are you subscribed to this channel? It's because you want to create a business so that you can make more money. But prior to this, in order for you to get to this point where you're watching these videos, you probably went through a series of bounce checks, of negative balances in your bank account, of, you know, going from job to job, trying to apply to different jobs, trying to grow in your business ladder and all that, and you know, seeing failure after failure, and just, you know, never having enough money to actually buy the car that you always wanted, to buy the TV that you always wanted, to go on that vacation that you never get to go on. The poor mentality is the one that is always thinking about money. It may not be on a conscious level, but it is absolutely subconscious. It is the wealthy mentality that knows how to have fun. They know how to enjoy life. How do you think people get wealthy? It's not because they bust their butts all day, every day. Now, there are people who do that, but it's not because of that. Wealthy people realize the simple concept of leverage. Leverage is when you hire other people, when you outsource other people and get them to help you. So one task of creating a business being pushed up by 4 people instead of 1, the job becomes much easier, and you can do 4 times the work in a lot less time than one person can do in that same amount of time. Did I throw you off? Let me rephrase it. If it's just you, and it's just you working to build your business, it's going to take, you are only one person, and you have physical and even mental limits. It's going to take you much longer, way longer, to see the kind of results that people can see when they bring other people to help them. When they bring other people to help them, they get bigger results in a lot less time. So if you're on the path to try to create wealth for yourself, bringing other people to help you will get you there a lot faster and a lot greater than those who just go it alone, right? So you have to realize that, you know, wealthy people, they outsource instead of, if you have the money to not work 60 hours a week, but instead hire people so that you don't have to work 60 hours a week, would you? Chances are yes. I refer you to another book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, who is a multimillionaire, maybe a billionaire, I don't even know. But his book, 4-Hour Workweek, how he got from working 60 hours and not making as much money to working 4 hours a week and making buku money. Okay, wealthy people, they got it figured out. They know how to they know how to do it. And of course, there are wealthy people that work all the time. They're workaholics, but that's more of a personality thing. That's not really, you know, that they have no choice. They absolutely have a choice. They choose to work that much. But if that's not you, how hard do you think it'll be, you know, affording those wonderful, luxurious vacations when you're making 40, 50 grand a month? Huh? It's not as difficult as you may think, and it doesn't require slaving away every hour of the day. It requires working smarter, not harder. Does it require hard work? Yes, of course. But the concept is working smarter, not harder. You will work hard, but you don't have to work harder. You just have to work smarter. That's the only real difference. Truth of the matter is, we're all born with the ability to create wealth for ourselves. We are all given the same abilities, the same tools. For some, it comes to them easier than others, but we all start at zero. When you're born into this world, your parents may be wealthy or your parents may be poor, but when you are born into this world, you ain't got nothing. When you get out of school, get out of your parents' house, it's all up to you. So what are you going to do with that? So hopefully this video makes sense. Hopefully it's inspired and sparked some thoughts in you, because really, at the end of the day, there is a difference between the way that the poor mentality works and the way that the wealthy mentality works. We just have to change our perceptions and realize that those stereotypes that we've had all along, they're not fair, and they're not usually true. The opposite is actually true. And that's going to blow your mind once you realize it. So, yeah, just let me know in the comment section below if that really helped you, and I would love to see some of your thoughts. So, yeah. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, give me a thumbs up to tell the YouTube algorithm that you love the content on this video and you really want to see more of it. And if you care to see more of it, please feel free to click the subscribe button and also click that bell notification so you can be updated on future videos when I post. And last but not least, if you want to know how I'm making an online income from affiliate marketing and how you can too, using a business in the box platform, which basically means it's already done for you. Everything is set up. All you got to do is configure it to your standards and learn how to duplicate that process for any business that you so desire. Click that link in the description box below, and I'll be happy to guide you and to coach you through the entire process to help you see success. So with that in mind, I'll see you in the next video. It's your boy Jason. Much love, God bless, and as always, you know it. Peace.
I should make money for free. Yeah, that's how money works. You know, money for free. If I ain't got a boss, then it's not a legal way to make money. You gotta know that's true, right? You gotta have a boss for you. Okay. The only way to make money is by spending a crazy amount of time. If I'm not like slave or nothing like that, okay. But okay, here we go. Nobody makes money from home. This COVID thing is just a fluke. We're gonna be in the office again, and if you seriously want to help me, you should just give me money. You know, I mean, that's how you can show me